Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to do sort of the second part of the shades in eyeshadow palettes. So I did my favorite shades in an eyeshadow palette. I will link that one up above for you. I don't know how long ago that one went up before this one, but now I'm going to do my least favorite eyeshadows in the palettes that I have. I'm going to do the exact same palettes today that I did in my first video of my favorite shades in my eyeshadow palettes, and I'll just talk about my least favorite shades in each of these palettes. I did the same thing with when I did my favorites. I hadn't thought about it really beforehand. I wanted it to be sort of just spur of the moment, like if I'm just looking at the palette and I didn't have any time to think about it, I'm not playing with it, what is my favorite shade? And now I'm gonna do the same least favorite. And I really didn't think about my least favorite when I was doing the first part of this. I really tried to focus on what I was doing so that this could be really completely spontaneous. First one is the Juvia's Place Nubian 2 palette. So let's take a look. And it's a beautiful palette. So, you know, it's not like these are all going to be shades that I hate. They're just going to be my least favorite ones. I mean, some I may like more than others, but I mean, I have to pick something, right? So, all right, so let's see. It's a beautiful palette, super fun for the fall time. I'm gonna say that my least favorite shade is this one called Sheba. It's pretty, it's almost like it's like a bronzy shade, but it's like a cooler bronzy shade. And I mean, it's just as beautiful as like all the other shimmers in these palettes. It's beautiful, but I just feel like it's not super unique. That's why it would be my least favorite. I mean, even Zuri is just like super intense and beautiful. And yes, it's not like super unique, but I just love that shade. This one, I mean, it's beautiful, but I'm just not super drawn to it because if I'm gonna go for like that kind of a shimmer, I'm gonna go for Ya, which is like super coppery, bronzy goodness. And Sheba's just not the one that I would really go for. Let me swatch it for you. I mean, it's stunning. I mean, of course I swatch it and I'm like, ooh. So it's beautiful. It's just not going to be my favorite shade in the palette, and I feel like I've seen this shade before in my life. All right, so then we have the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. So let's take a look in here. Like I mentioned in my first video, this is the like original one, so it doesn't have the shade names on it, and I don't have the sheet that has that anymore. So if I can find out the names, then I'll put them in the description box, but I don't know them offhand. So I would say my least favorite shade in this palette, it's definitely a toss-up because there are a couple in this palette that I don't love. I'll be honest with you so that you just know it's between these two right here. And I think I'm gonna go with this one because I think I can still like make that one work even though it's not my favorite. So it's this pastel pink, and it's just okay. It's not like that great of a shade. It's just kind of chalky, and I don't feel like I really use it. Like I don't know what to do with it. And I don't think it really fits in the palette. Like, see, I really like built that up, and I still don't even really see it. So yeah, that's definitely my least favorite. Then we have the Queen of Hearts palette by Colored Rain. Beautiful, beautiful palette. Just absolutely love this palette. Sorry, it's super blinding. Gosh, what would be my least favorite shade in this palette? Well, I'm gonna be kind of boring and say that my least favorite is the shade Heir. Just because, I mean, it like can almost be a transition shade for me if I'm really fair, but most of the time it's too light for that, and it's definitely too dark to be like a highlight shade for me, like a matte highlight shade. So it's just an okay shade. I mean, I get use out of it. It does show up on me. It's nice, but it's just kind of a boring shade in this palette, and I honestly use Royal Prerogative and Princess more for just the crease as a transition more than I would use this one. If I go in with this one, it's really just as like a base and, you know, maybe an initial transition shade, but like you don't even end up really seeing it, and so it's just not that exciting. It does show up a little bit darker than it seemed, it's just, yeah, let me try and build that up so you can see it a little bit better. It definitely like looks darker on me than it looks in the pan. Can you even really see that? It's like very similar to a peach smoothie from Makeup Geek, but I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm a little bit darker right now than I usually am, but it just doesn't show up on me that much. And it's a nice quality shade. So if you like a shade like that, you know, and if you have a darker complexion, then that might be a good highlight shade. And if you're fairer, then that might be a good transition shade. But for me, it's just okay. And then the next one is the Modern Renaissance palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills. Love this palette, just a beautiful, beautiful palette. So let's see, what is my least favorite shade in here? I'm gonna, whoops, and the brush fell out. I'm gonna have to say that my least favorite is Golden Ochre. I don't know, like it's almost a mustardy shade, but it's not quite, and so it just doesn't excite me that much, I guess is what I'm gonna say about it. Doesn't excite me. I just don't often go in with that one as like a transition or a crease shade, and I go for some of the other ones before I go for this one. It just, I don't know, maybe I'm just not that good at using that kind of a shadow, but I just don't feel like it looks great when I use it, and it's okay, like it works, but it's definitely not my favorite. Then I have the Dream Street palette by Kathleen Lights and ColourPop. Really, really do love this palette. I'm gonna say that my least favorite shade, it's gonna be this one, which is, it's called Sweet Dreams. And the only reason is because it's a beautiful color. It looks really pretty, but I feel like it looks way more beautiful in the pan and maybe even on your finger than it does like when you actually put it on your eyes. Like it looks like it's gonna have a nice like almost duochrome effect, and I don't know, it's a little bit flaky. I don't know if you can even really tell, but it's a little bit flaky, and it just kind of comes off as a basic goldy shade, and so I just kind of was like disappointed in it because I was thinking it was gonna be like way more interesting than it was. See how boring this is so far? All right, then we have the BH Cosmetics Weekend Festival palette. A really fun, bright palette, and I already know which one is going to be my least favorite, and if you watched my review of this palette, then you will already know which shade is my least favorite, and it's this one right here, the shade Neon. And the reason is because when you actually put it on the eyes, like it looks like it's this really pretty, like lime green, kind of like neon green, but when you put it on the eyes, it looks way less green and more just yellow. Like I think it looks more green here just because it's next to Euphoria maybe, but like it does look green on the eyes, but just not as much as I wanted. Like the yellow comes out way more than the green does, and it just sort of, it just disappointed me because I wanted it to be way more green. And it's a little bit flaky for sure. I mean, these shimmers are not like the most amazing thing I've ever used as far as shimmers go. They're fine, they'll do the job. Like it still looks green, but it's not quite as green as I wanted it to be, and it just was like, I don't know, it was a little bit of a letdown for me. So then there's the Dominique Cosmetics Latte palette. This one's gonna be hard because I don't dislike any of these. I think that they're all really, really good. So I think I have to be boring with this one. I think I have to be boring and say that Vanilla Cream is my least favorite, because that's the honest truth. Like, I love this palette so much, and I love the shade so much that, and I even love this. Like, I think that this is a great highlighty shade or base shade. Why did I do it with this finger? I did it with the wrong finger. I can't swatch with the same hand. I mean, it's just as good quality as the other shadows in here, and it's, I mean, it's a beautiful shade. It is like, it's a little, it's like almost too dark for me to use as a highlighty shade, but it works because it's so opaque and creamy, and you know, it just is not like going to be like super bright, which sometimes I want, but it's a good like eraser type of shade. Like if I need to clean things up, it's a really good shade, but I mean, I just would have maybe preferred something else because I mean, I just love the mattes in here and the shimmers, and I just love the palette so much that I would have liked something else maybe. That's a great swatch. But that's what it looks like. So it's a great quality shadow. It's my least favorite because all the other ones are so amazing that I just wanted another color, you know? And the last one is the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk palette. Love this palette so much. So it's gonna be hard to decide which one is my least favorite in here. Oh my God, am I gonna be boring again? Am I gonna be boring? Okay. I'm gonna kind of cheat because I don't wanna be like too boring. Even though Desert Sand is probably really my least favorite, I also am gonna go ahead and say Cosmo here, just because like I don't wanna use the shadow. Like it's just, cause it's a pressed glitter. Let me see if I can show you. This is gonna get everywhere, oh my God. It's glitter. And it's just in the palette. And so it's beautiful, but I just don't want to use it because I'm afraid of it getting everywhere, because I mean, it holds together more than like a loose glitter would, you can see, but I'm always just so afraid of it. And so I wish that it was just another like really pretty, like shimmery shade, because while it is gorgeous, I mean, look at that. It's beautiful. I just don't ever want to use it because I'm so like scared of it. So that's the truth. All right, everyone, so that is it for my least favorite shades in my eyeshadow palettes. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this color scheme, if you would wear these shades, or if some of these you were disappointed in my decision because you think that these are amazing shadows. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you like this video, please make sure and give it a big thumbs up. That really does help out my channel so much. I post videos every single Monday and Thursday, 8 p.m. Central Time. If you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. I would love for you to stick around, and I really hope to see you next time. Bye.